Should you be moving forward with fear, with all the headlines, the market uncertainty? Talking with Pat Porter and what he's learned over the years and decades and multiple market cycles. Listen to this if you're looking to buy land in 2023 or the future. Hope you guys enjoy this. Here we go. Bad news travels fast in terms of like media companies, let's say. Like if I titled this, "Don't buy land in 2023, it'll be a bad choice." It'd probably get more views and downloads than if I said things are probably going to be okay, just be smart. Like, so what I'm saying is, I think maybe some of this stuff is a little sensationalized on the high, like on the good news and the bad news. So that's, I find interesting because I see on the residential side of things, just reading, trying to stay informed, they're saying it's doomsday and all these things have pulled back. I don't know. I'm not in Las Vegas. I'm not in Miami to where maybe things are a little bit different there. So how do you consume your information when it comes to land, or how do you stay informed when you're trying to figure out, hey, what is going out in the streets?
We watch the interest rates, of course, because we use lenders in our personal investment deals. And, I have clients always talking to me about, deals, how to go about it. And so we keep our eye on the interest rates some. Also, too, I just answer questions anecdotally, meaning just from what I see from my chair. And I'm not just selling houses in one little town. I don't do houses at all. But my illustration is I'm just not looking at one little town here. I'm looking at action going on in a region.
Mm-hmm.
And from where I sit, I tell people what I see, and, I have to be optimistic because things are still happening. Things are moving right along pretty rapidly.
Mm-hmm.
But the interest rates have me cautious more than they did 2 years ago, for sure. As far as there being a source out there of information, no, there's not a go-to source I go to just for this. I have partners, and we just sit around and talk like this, and kind of get a gut based on what's going on, what we're seeing, what our other partners are seeing, and just make the best business decision you can based on what you can see, not reading too much into the hype and not reading too much into the doomsday.
Yeah, that's a very logical way to do that. And I think something that's just interesting to me is and this was a headline I read recently in terms of residential inventory increasing drastically. I personally haven't seen recreational land or land in general, that inventory increasing drastically, which I think has created it to be more stable.
That's a good point. I answered a question the other day. He's my partner in Rec Land, and things have not changed that much. Of course, again, it's always slower with us than it is the residential market in Phoenix, Arizona, or Scottsdale, or Miami. Those big pockets of unique bubbles, or bubbles might not be the word, but those unique pockets where things escalate and decline very rapidly. We don't see that here anyway, and we certainly don't see it in our industry.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to watch guys like you and other land guys and talk to my buddies in different states, and they're not as much into the hype because they're looking at what they see around them, and it's sort of the same thing. It's just kind of steady, plodding along, no big drastic spikes or bubbles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's there's a handful. I mean, I look almost every day. I look every day for just new listings and everything else, and a lot of them are still selling pretty darn quick, which is, to me, just shows that there's still a lot of buyer demand, and it's just the inventory and demand hasn't quite met on whatever chart that is out there. So, I mean, that's interesting.
The thing that in our business that I do feel like there will be a little bit of a tightening is the folks out there that are buying 20, 30, 40, 60 acres, rural home site kind of tracts, just small tracts. It may be their first purchase, or just regular folks buying a piece of property, maybe for the first time. With interest rates, being a lot stronger than they were a year and a half, 2 years ago, I sense that that's going to tighten up some, because that's a luxury purchase for an average guy, and suddenly interest rates have gone from 4 to 7 or whatever, or double basically somewhere in there. I sense that that's going to tighten up some.
Yeah, I just had lunch with the lender here a couple of weeks ago, and he had an example of a client that was pre-approved for a house for $200,000. Okay, this is what you're pre-qualified for. This is what your payment's going to be. That same person came back now and said, "Hey, I found another $200,000 house. Where do I sit?" Well, the payment's $800 more, and so that's a lot of money. That is a lot of money. That changes that debt to income ratio a lot for many, many, many folks. So I think that's, to your point, for someone that's trying to figure out, well, I can afford $900 a month for a land payment, or $1,000 a month. Well, now you can buy a lot less, and I just haven't seen the prices retract. So I think that's just what I've seen. But then I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, well, we're not economists, but we can do math. And your average guy out there, I'm an average guy, and I look at those numbers, and I would feel that same pinch. So I get that.
Mm-hmm. But I guess the silver lining in that is stay course, keep looking, and having that, I guess, financial moat. And if you find something you really like, then would you be scared to buy it? I mean, based off your consensus, the answer is no.
No, absolutely not. And me and partners, we put our money where my mouth is right now. I bought 2 properties in the last month, and we loaded up and gotten several properties a couple of months before that, and have some other deals currently under contract. And these are just personal, private deals, have nothing to do with my brokerage. These are just deals that I'm finding, tracks out there, and we're still as aggressive as we have been. We are just doing the math with a real sharp pencil because the interest rates have made a difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What if you had to anticipate? Do you think interest rates continue to stay kind of where they're at for this next year, or do you think they're going to go up another point or two? If you just had a guess.
Gun to my head, just guessing. I bet they go up before they go down.
Yeah. I mean, because it feels like inflation still isn't under control, and that's what they're trying to curb. So if it hasn't been, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, there's people way smarter than me who have more important jobs than me, and so they'll figure that out, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. But those same important people, they've got their information. My wife came home yesterday, raging about the price of eggs. So for a home.
Yeah.
And so that's inflationary, and that's down at the micro level but that's where most of our customers live at the price of eggs, price of milk, level. And interest rates, inflation are affecting those people pretty heavily, or us. And so I just sense it's going to have a tightening to some degree. Don't know how much, but I'm sure it is.
Hope you guys enjoyed this. My name is Jake Hofer, and I'm a real estate agent out of the state of Illinois. And it's my goal to help 100 people buy their first farm. Been doing that with the Land Podcast and clips like this every single Thursday and Saturday that are released here on the channel. And to be one of those 100 people, all you have to do is, if you're in the state of Illinois and I can help you, I'd be happy to do so. Number 2, if you want to get connected with someone that can help you, reach out, and I'll be happy to get you in contact with an agent that I would personally do business with. And the last one is, if you just simply learn something from the content we're putting out, or you get inspired to take action, I want to know, get you out of that spreadsheet. I'm on a mission to help 100 people. Until next time, see ya.